live stream. I'm a little late. I think I have COVID. I'm not sure, not 100% sure. I didn't have a test at home, but it feels a little bit like it. Not bad, but different. Just, yeah. It could also be that I'm out with Kami and Mika all the time. That it's maybe because of that. Maybe a little bit too much cold weather. So we'll see. But right now we have a very cold time over here. Weather's pretty cold. The night, everything had cooled down so much that the heater didn't really manage. So very cold night, and we're still warming up today. I really see it in the pets. They seek the warmth of the heater. It's just a cold winter sometimes. Still, I'm glad when it's over again. So yeah, I was cleaning seeds yesterday, and that's what I have here. The remaining seeds from yesterday, and these were from a plant called Macola. Very good flower. So it was important that I cleaned them, and this was a lot of work. This fruit wasn't really clean. So yeah, Macola 2025. Macola Uvocala hybrid. I'm not sure what it is right now, but probably something with Wörlitz Cantora and something else. I think that's what I read about it, but I don't recall 100%. Got to look it up in one of the next streams. I will tell you. So yeah, I will just continue to clean seeds because that's what has priority right now. So here's a bunch of seeds from a hybrid between Flying Dragon and Cantora 1433. That's a classic Reinhard Liske hybrid. Reinhard Liske 1433. His long list of hybrids that is in the thousands, I guess. And it's not surprising if you every year maybe you do 500 crosses. That's not unrealistic. And if you do it as long as he did, then you get to that kind of number. So welcome to the stream, guys. Great to have you around. I'm a little late. I suspect I have something like COVID. So everything takes a little longer today. And my voice is going away every now and then. But yeah, great to be back. Cleaning seeds of Flying Dragon Cantora. The body looks a little bit different. Classic hybrid. Okay. And not many seeds, maybe 100 at the most. Flying Dragon, it's unclear what the parents are. The way I heard the story was that they found it on eBay. They found it on eBay and with unclear parentage and bought it. And it wasn't cheap. I think the hybrid at the time cost a little bit, couple €100 maybe more. But yeah, that's how they got the Flying Dragon hybrid. And it has very big flowers, very useful for hybrid breeding. The plants grow fast. It's a really interesting new kind of plant for hybrid breeding. Okay. Could have Cerenzia carmagensis in it, but unclear. So flying dragon. And I had 5 different mother plants from that cross, because they are all good, all in their own way. So yeah, welcome to the stream, guys. Great to have you around. I'm a little messed up. Might have COVID, maybe not. We'll see. And I found an ugly sweater again. Doing my best to keep up with everything. It's not so easy to find a sweater that is ugly every day. At some point, you run out of those things. Okay, let me see what I have here. These are seeds from a hybrid called Märchenfee, a German hybrid, a Gräser follow-up hybrid. I think the breeder was Thomas Stöfer. He's just retired, but he made a lot of great hybrids. And this is one of them. The flower is interesting. It kind of doesn't fully open up, and I would call it a genetic defect, because the flower doesn't open widely, but it just makes an interesting kind of flower. It looks interesting. You can look at it and you think that, okay, you don't see that every day. But it also, I've seen so much offspring of it already, and none of them really had a nice widely opening flower. They all kind of carried that trait into the hybrids, and I don't like that when they do that. So yeah, we'll see. I still think it's possible that something good could come from this kind of hybrid. That's why I made the cross. In this case, it was something with pink stripes, I believe. Trying to get a ruffled flower with the color of pink stripes. There are already a bunch around. So I'm just trying to have my own version of it with that I can use for breeding. Okay. Yeah, and that makes the cross definitely interesting, but I already know that they might carry the trait with the not so widely opening flowers. Just a couple of months ago, a friend showed me photos of something like that, of one of those hybrids, and I've seen offspring of another very similar hybrid called Maasrot, or also called Maasrote, meaning just the red flowering hybrid by that breeder, Anton Maas. And yeah, they had a similar flower mutation where it doesn't open widely. So it's a thing. And you see it in a bunch of these Gräser hybrids. And yeah, I don't really like it, because I like when a flower really opens up, when you can see that the thing changes, and it isn't suddenly open and that's it. It's a slower process, and these flowers often can't do that, and that's why I'm not doing so many crosses with it, but I do a bunch here and there, because maybe the color gets in. If you have color like pink stripes in such a flower, then you can accept it more easily. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining in. I'm a little late. I think I got COVID. I haven't made a test, but I feel exactly like the last time when I got COVID, and I didn't do much. I went to buy bird food in the supermarket, in the local supermarket on Christmas, and I guess that could have been it. So we'll see. But it's not too bad. It's just different. Like, I'm sleeping a little longer, waking up a little bit less less well. I don't know. Not getting enough sleep. I sleep so long and it isn't enough. So I really suspect it's COVID again. Apparently it's a thing right now. Seen quite a few people have it. But I would try to get me one of those tests again. In the past, it wasn't really necessary. But during the winter season, seems like it's always a bit more likely, apparently. Okay. Yeah. These seeds here are from Märchenfee by Thomas Stöfer, and the father was Pink Stripes. I even filmed the video with it. I'm currently cleaning cactus seeds here, and the stuff that's over here, these are cactus seedlings that we have grown, sown out on the channel, maybe starting 1.5 months ago, something like that. And the seedlings are now pretty big already. I will open them up later. I always bring them here in front of the camera so we can go through. A large part of the channel is about growing from seeds. So yeah, I'm just still cleaning the cactus seeds from yesterday. I put a bunch aside here, and I really want to make progress. But yeah, I'm getting to the seedlings very soon. Yeah, I will do that later. I don't feel like feels like I'm getting allergies from it. I need to put it aside a little bit. Oh, my condolences. That happened to me too one day. Once or twice, a few times. You can't avoid it. You have contact with them, and every now and then when you get out of balance, it just happens sometimes. So I know how it feels. My condolences. I had that once when I had the Lyme disease so bad that my balance was completely non-existent at the time, and then yeah, I wanted to look at something in the corner and I fell forward. That happened once to me, and I'm just glad it didn't happen again since then. So yeah, and it happens to everyone. Every cactus breeder has their story where they kind of had a little mishap. So yeah, okay, so opening up the seedlings. These are looking great. Healthy seedlings in a very dry kind of soil. Really important when you're fighting against fungus gnats. Keeping the soil a little bit drier really helps. In the cases where I opened up the containers and the soil was a little drier, there was rarely a problem with fungus gnats. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Great to have you around. I brought another ugly sweater. And I mean, I call it ugly, but I really like it actually. I had a time when I really enjoyed getting me a weird sweater every now and then. And today I'm glad that I did. All that vintage clothes stuff has become a huge business. Stuff's ridiculously expensive now. So, okay, so this is a Hilde Winterer hype. I'm sorry, I'm sick. So this is a Hilde Winterer hybrid with a columnar in a cross. Seedlings look great. Good for Hilde Winterer. I'm always happy when Hilde Winterer seedlings, when they succeed on their own roots, because that happens sometimes. That's not the case. Okay, so I just saw that one or two of the seedlings are lying sideways a little bit. Mostly small, very small seedlings that just kind of came up the wrong way. I know how that feels. So yeah, and I'm trying to get them, give them back their ability to take in water and nutrients through the root. That root is really tiny, and in the beginning, if they don't really have contact with the soil, you can lose them. Here's a seedling where I feel like it's already too late. The little taproot is gone. Tiny thing. I don't think it makes sense to put it back in. So that's it. Apart from that, everything good. I can close it up again. So I will try to get me like a COVID test in the next couple of days. We'll see how that goes. Not that it matters, but if it's something like that, I will not go to my parents. Oh, it's okay. I'm all right. It's just I can feel that I feel different. You know, it's not what's currently going around is it's not so bad as the stuff like when you got it in the beginning, but it's still every now and then you can feel it. Something feels different then, but it's okay. It's just I noticed that I'm consistently a little bit behind in the last 3 days or so. And at some point it made sense, because that was the time when I was buying bird food at the local supermarket, and that made a lot of sense suddenly. Okay. So let me see here. Also great and healthy seedlings, not seeing any problem. There's one seedling that's lying somewhere in the middle that fell over. I tried to correct that, but apart from that, these are looking pretty good. But the problem is when you have so many seedlings, very often when they start getting bigger, they lose contact to the ground. They kind of grow in a weird ball, and it takes away the soil, lifts it up a little bit, and then you have a bunch of seedlings that actually do not have connection to the soil, but you don't see it because everything is full of seedlings. Let me see. Yeah, I hope so too. It doesn't matter. It's not that I'm feeling really sick. It's just that I'm feeling different. But it's okay. Okay, yeah, apart from that, everything great. The soil also was a little drier. Generally a theme with a lot of the healthier seedling containers. The drier they are, the less likely they will have problems with fungus gnats. And these are looking great. Healthy looking seedlings. Only thing I don't like is the moss. I just don't like when it surrounds the seedlings. It takes away the light. It takes away the nutrients a little bit, and also it creates that humidity jungle at the base of the cactus seedling, and that is not a good thing. They always have humidity in a closed bag, but when they have it directly at the root, that can become a problem. Okay. Looking great, also not super fast, but you can see that they all consistently grow. Not really seeing anything where I feel like that the lamp is too strong. They have discolorations. When you see reddish discolorations on a seedling, that is very often just an indicator of stress. And I can see it in some of the seedlings here too, but it's not a problem to stress them a little. It's just life. Life is stressful sometimes. So they will cope. They will manage to continue to grow. The reddish discoloration only becomes a real warning when you see the seedlings getting smaller and smaller and smaller, because then that would be a sign that they are dehydrating, maybe losing more water than you can give them. And but apart from that, a little reddish discoloration here and there does not bother me at all. These are very young, not so old, maybe 3 weeks. But there's one seedling that is way ahead of the others. So interesting situation where you have one seedling that is so much above everything else. Apart from that, seems to be a little bit of variegation, little kind of green, yellow, some look even whitish. We'll see how they will continue to grow and whether they can survive on the root. So no fungus gnats so far. Not seeing any here either. Good, nice. Seedlings tiny, very tiny. This is really the first stage, and I feel like the seedlings here are a little bit on the smaller side in general. Sometimes you just have different kind of body types. And now that I look at it, it's Teleflora. So interesting intergeneric hybrid. Genetically, we'll see. I expect a lot of variegation from this cross, from this hybrid. And I'm really looking forward seeing some of the offspring eventually later on. I want to keep an eye on them. I don't want to lose them out of my sight. Sometimes you just have the most amazing stuff and then you forget where it is and it disappears. It is eaten by slug. Sometimes it's just a bad spot where you have it and then it's gone. So I don't want to do that now. This time we will keep everything indoors until it's big enough to really face everything. Slugs, the sun, a little bit of storm. But until then, I want to keep them indoors. It just allows me to control the environment. Only thing we need to be very careful about is getting mealybug indoors. I don't want that. So we will have to be very vigilant, attentive, and really, if there's a problem with a pest, it will be treated right away. Apart from that, I feel like it's the right decision to keep the seedlings indoors a little longer. But there's a limit. You only have so much space in every. No matter how much space you have, you will eventually get to the point where you run out of it. It happened in my greenhouses. It happened within 2 years. That's not a lot of time. Just 2 years where I had all the space in the world and suddenly it was all full. It happens very fast. Okay. Also, healthy seedlings, no fungus gnats. I love that. Uwe Kahle seedlings, and so many of them. I'm not sure who is going to repot all of them. I hope it's not me. I'm just sowing them out and leaving them for other people to do the work. Unfortunately, it's got to be me. That's the price. That's the price you get from just enjoying to sow out. I like that hobby. I could just sow out every year and then move on. But then you have a million of cacti that you need to care for. So yeah, these are also very young. Soil very dry and not a problem. You see, when the soil is a little bit drier, you can really see that the seedlings are doing well. Also, they don't need incredible swamp kind levels of water when you have them in a closed bag, because the closed bag already brings humidity. Yeah, at some point I will work something out. The good stuff that I'm growing, I'm always donating for propagation, that kind of stuff. I always sort out a lot every year. I just need to do more of it. Last year, I once again sorted a lot of stuff out, and it ended back up in the house because it was just too much work. You know, sometimes you just can't put the stuff at the road. It needs to make sense. During winter, you can't do it. You can't do it when they are flowering because you want to see the flower. Every now and then you made a cross and you want to wait until the fruit has grown at the end of the season, and it's just, there's never the right time to sort out plants, and I need to do more of it in the future. It's a mindset that I hate. I just like to grow cacti, and when you create something like cactus seeds and that kind of stuff, you always want to see what came from them. So I hate to sort out, stuff where I haven't seen the flower yet. And as far as I know, most of the breeder have to do it like that. They have to sort out, sometimes looking at the parents of the cross, and then trying to guess the percentage that the cross could be great. And if that value isn't above a certain point, they sort it out. So that kind of stuff is also important, and I still have to learn about that. I just like to, when the plants that I have right now, they are all good. It's not that you want to sort out, but it's just a necessity, because you're also limited in how much you can take care of them. If it takes weeks to just water the collection once, then you get to the point where it's no longer doable. So that's something, yeah. If you do not sort out, and a lot of the breeders that I know, they put it on the compost bin, and it just helps to just improve continuously over time. But yeah, I don't like it. I don't like to sort out. At some point you see a lot of different kind of plants that could be useful for breeding, and yeah, there's just never enough space. Okay, seedlings here. Uwe Kahle seedlings. Also, the whole pot is full. We'll see what we do with them. And these will be, a lot of these hybrids here will be very spiny. Yeah. A lot of people, like I'm a member in quite a few Facebook groups and that kind of stuff. And every time someone posts about having to put something in the compost bin, people get really, really angry. So we've had quite a few arguments about that kind of stuff in the past. So we had to make certain rules just to prevent that. The compost bin posts would lead to big arguments and that kind of stuff. So it's a big subject, even among breeders. It's just difficult for someone to understand how many different plants you have as a breeder and how much you actually have to sort out. And it's usually more than you could ever just sell. I know breeders who sell plants, and they usually do it where they sell maybe 500 plants at once, and someone drives through the country and picks it up, that kind of stuff. But everything else, when a breeder is separately selling plants, it just takes a lot of effort. Then you instantly have all the business stuff that you need to follow. Yeah, it's a lot of work. And once you have to do the business stuff, you have to do the tax work, you have to just have the paperwork, everything. It's sometimes easier to just put something in the compost. And I understand it. I don't like it, but I respect that. Okay, so here, these are seedlings that I transplanted into washed pumice. Yeah. So some of these look terrible. Check it out. Do you see the fungal infection there? That whitish fluff, that's a fungal infection, and it covers the whole seedling. And it also has reached another seedling. So I would take that whole thing out. Whole fungal infection out. Goes into the trash. Here's a little weed. I'm not sure what it is, what kind of a plant, but it needs to go. I'm sorry. This is not for you. And here's a seedling that didn't make it. That was already damaged while we transplanted. That happens a lot. When I'm transplanting very young seedlings, it usually means that something really bad happened and that it was necessary to take the risk. And at that time, some of them had fungus gnat problems. Welcome to the fungus gnat channel. So yeah. Apart from that, the other ones look good. Here's one tiny one where that was very close to that other fungal infection. It could have already spread. Here's a seedling that I want to take out. Often good to just take something out that already is discolored. When a seedling has a discoloration, like orange kind of discoloration, it's usually not a good sign. In a closed bag where there's high humidity, it is unlikely that a fungal infection that's already affected the plant will go away again. So you might as well take out the seedlings that look discolored. And there's always that one seedling that's an exception where it definitely did recover. But in a numbers game, in regards to percentage and that kind of stuff, it's often better to take it out right away. It just wastes time, and it keeps the spores inside the closed bag, so it can spread a little. It can just flame up again later. Okay, these are looking good. No fungus gnats, but also a lot of seedlings. This is looking like work. Apparently someone has sown out too much. But apart from that, these look great. Also drier soil. It's something that keeps coming up. So I really recommend to keep the soil a little bit drier. Not super dry. The plants should not look dehydrated. But if they are in a closed bag, they don't need so much humidity. And it's good to have the soil with some sort of oxygen that is still able to get to the roots. And when the soil is too wet, that doesn't happen. Okay, looking good. Not seeing problems. Only thing that I corrected just now was that there was a huge crack between the soil and the pot, and that can sometimes mean that the seedlings are washed away when you start watering them later on. So I often try to correct that, try to compress the soil. Here's a big hole. Yeah, apart from that, seedlings are looking good. Really young. 3-4 weeks, I'm not sure, but not very old. Closing up again, and I didn't see any fungus gnats. So far, so good. Percentage-wise, it's going down. There's a downward trend with the fungus gnats. Okay, these are looking great. Very young though. Born to be wild. A very nice Lubivia hybrid. Lubivia ferox crossed with Lubivia, what was it? Oh, another one, very similar one. But Lubivia ferox hybrid with very good flowers. Everything from Born to be Wild is something that I will sow out. Last season, Born to be Wild, my plant didn't really flower so well. I just had it at the wrong spot. So I hope next year that will be different. I really like the hybrid, and I see so many good ones coming from it. Okay, and these are looking great also. In regards to the size, all pretty similar. A little discoloration at the tip, but not much. And this is all in very organic soil. There's even a piece of wood sticking out there. But so far, if you don't have the problem with the fungus gnats that got in before, then it's working good for young seedlings, for very young seedlings. In the first 3 months, maybe 6 months. But the older they get, the more problems you will have with root problems, with root rot. And then it can make sense to switch the medium. But yeah, I'm torn. Maybe we can just keep the humidity indoors so much under control that we will reduce problems with root rot to a minimum, even in the organic soil. Since I want to keep the seedlings indoors for a while, we can just decide when we want to water or not. And when you have them outdoors, you sometimes can't really control it. Even in the greenhouse, it gets difficult because the humidity is so fluctuating. Okay, these are looking good. Hybrid cross of mine. I'm not sure, but not sure what it is. I just have the number on it. But they look interesting. Interesting kind of body. It doesn't seem to be something like a Gräser hybrid. Seedlings look very unique. I will look it up what it is. So yeah, and welcome to the stream, guys. Cactus Care stream for the ones that just found us. Thank you for joining us. always happy to answer questions. If not, I'm just going through my stuff. The seedlings that we've sown out, and there are many, as you can see. And I also have cactus seeds that I want to continue cleaning later. I just had to stop a little because it was too much. Okay, these are looking great. Uwe Kahle hybrid cross from 2023. So the seeds were still super viable. And that happens a lot. So by the way, I brought plants from the greenhouse. And I just want to do a little bit of stuff here and there. Nothing big. But I wanted to clean this up a little bit. This one here has a bunch of weeds in it that I wanted to take out. I usually, when I see something in the greenhouse that alarms me, then I take it in for the channel. And then we can just take a closer look at everything. Here is a seedling that didn't make it. And I wanted to remove that. I wanted to clean that up because if you have it like that in the greenhouse and it gets wet, then that can easily spread to the other seedlings. Always trying to get the root out too. But yeah, that's it. Actually, the seedlings look okay. Apart from that, check it out. These are Candicans, Cerevisia candicans, or maybe Gräser hybrid. I see the label, but I don't want to get in. These are super spiny. I don't want to touch them the wrong way. Okay, and then I saw this one. Also very weedy kind of pot. I really don't like that when I see that in the greenhouse. So I had to bring it in. And look at the roots. Look at how much root space the weed has taken. So it really makes sense to clean it up, because very often when I see something like this, the pot is full of roots and none of them belong to the cactus. That's just not very nice. That's a bad thing to do, so I take it out. I wanted to have the root space available for the cactus seedling. Apart from that, no problem. This actually looked interesting in regards to the body. I liked it. So I wanted to just clean it up to give it a little bit better chance. Okay. And the last one is this one. Also, I just wanted to weed it out a little bit. Let me see what the seedlings are. This one's just a number. Nice. I love when that happens. I love when I just see numbers. That's the thing with all the numbered crosses. You don't know what it is. You have to look it up later, and you often forget by that time. But it looks a little bit also like a Candicans hybrid, multi-hybrid maybe. So these are great. We'll go to the greenhouse again. I just wanted to take out a little bit of weed here and there. But they're healthy. So slowly over time, I will bring in plants from the greenhouse just so we can take a look and see what they need. But for now, continue with the seedling. It's just 4 more, and then we'll do the seeds. We have so many seeds from the current season, and if they lie around here on paper towels, then nobody can grow them. Looking okay, and some of them are variegated. The color ranges from green to yellowish to completely white, and that white seedling, I feel we could already take it out. I don't think it will make it. It looks like the kind of seedling that has no chance of long-term survival. Even if I would graft it now, I don't think it would make it. And when you have seedlings that are fully variegated, you can call them albino, that kind of whitish kind of look to them. When they are like that, you barely can save them. You need to graft them right away because they cannot produce chlorophyll on their own. They need it, and if you don't give it to them, they will within just a few weeks you will lose them. So graft them early. If they are completely white, they will most likely not survive on their own root, and you will always have to graft them, no matter, like, if you take it down because something happens to the grafting stock, you need to graft it again. So yeah, apart from that, nothing bad in here. Closing it up. This is good. I think we haven't seen a fungus gnat the whole day. It's a miracle. Okay, not seeing one here either. Bunch of seedlings and very young seedlings. First 2 or 3 weeks, and so far so good. Nothing bad actually, but they are very young. Everything can be too much right now at the age that they have right now. So I will just put them under the lamp again, closing them up right away. I don't want to have any fungus gnats get in that thing. When they are so young, you can lose them because of everything. Yes, I believe they could. I mean, if it's the question was, does albino adult plants flower? And I believe they can. You just have to graft them. You need to graft them all the time, and if you do that, then they might even have an unusual kind of flower. But without the grafting stock, they just can't survive. They can't produce the chlorophyll. Some of them are only halfway albino, halfway variegated, and then they often can. Then they will often survive on their own roots and can even flower. I don't think it's a huge disadvantage as long as you graft it. I don't have, we're just talking about generally speaking. The flowers of the plants that were growing here, you can see on the channel. Check out the videos that I post on a regular basis. Albino flowers, they are out there, you know. It's just something that you don't see very often, but it happens, and I'm sure you can find a bunch of photos here and there on the internet, you know. And these here, these are very small. They are good 5 years away from flowering. This is the beginning of their journey. So unfortunately, it will take until maybe May until we can show more flowers again, like live flowers in the stream. But it will happen again soon. This is just the cactus growers' winter life inside the house. And usually over winter, you grow the little cactus seedlings like we do now. No, these are just cactus seedlings that we've grown. And if we do everything right, we will see them flowering in maybe 5 years, 5, 6 years, something like that. We have time. I'm not in a hurry. It's just part of a cactus breeder's life that you have to have a little bit of patience. Okay, and good things come to those who wait. They always say that. I'm not sure if it's true, but I just take them at their word. So here, these are some seedlings, the last one, and these are seedlings where everything went wrong. I had transplanted those, and I just see that some of the seedlings didn't make it at the time. So taking everything out, where I see there's fungal infections, and you can see there are at least 3 more. I'm not sure if you can see it in the video, but it's like whitish fluff, and that is always something that I take out. I don't want that. And don't confuse that with the cactus roots. Cactus seedlings have roots that can look similar, but this is clearly infected. If you see it, you will know the difference. Okay. So I'm not sure how many seedlings we can save from this container, but not all of them. I can tell you that. but it's okay. I only transplanted them because the situation was so bad. It's just logical that you lose some afterwards. It always takes time for the damage to show that the fungus gnats cause, and very often it just happens over weeks. Okay, I think these were the seedlings from today. Just moving them aside. And then later today, I will order Jiffy pots to sow out. I want to start sowing out. And I want to sow out the tomatoes and maybe carrots. And I also have a bunch of tree seeds and yeah, that kind of stuff. So we would start sowing out other stuff in the next time too. I want to do more like that, you know. When I just saw that there's so much space in my garden where I could plant something where people in 50 years will be happy that someone took the time to plant it. And I want to do something like that, a lot more. So I want to plant maybe a few walnut trees. We'll see, maybe a few more chestnuts, something like that. And all that stuff will find the start on the channel here in the stream. So we will do that soon. Once the Jiffy cups arrive, or how they are called, I'm not sure. Jiffy pots. I think that's their name. Hey mate, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Great to have you around. It's a good stream today. I like it. So I'm just continuing with cleaning of the seeds here that I have. Not sure what these were. Oh yeah, Märchenfee. Märchenfee by Thomas Stöfer is the mother. Lot of seeds, by the way. Check it out. This is just from one flower. And I still don't think it is self-fertile. Because I made another cross with the Lobivia. And that cross also succeeded, but it was so much smaller. So I really think that Märchenfee might not be self-fertile, but I'm not 100% sure. We will have to test it again, and I'm not sure if I want to keep the plant long-term. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Great to have you around. Okay. And I found another ugly sweater, in case you missed it. Very happy that I found one. Okay, so this was Märchenfee from 2025. Märchenfee, meaning German, meaning fairy tale fairy. I guess that's how you would translate it. Fairy tale fairy, yeah. Okay. And I wrote down the father. I think it was Pink Stripes. This year, I made a lot of crosses between Pink Stripes and ruffled hybrids. So in the next years, hopefully, one of them will end up with nice, colorful flowers that also have ruffles. That is what I would really like. Been doing these kind of crosses for a while, and it always takes years until you see them, until you know what's came from a certain year's harvest. So I just hope that eventually something like that will happen. Okay, and this here is Allergold. Good hybrid. I think Reinhard Liske. But I'm not entirely sure. But Flying Saucer crossed with Cantora Gelb. That's Allergold, and it's a gigantic kind of flower. You often underestimate how big that thing is until you see it in front of you. And the flowers, they open slowly, but the longer it takes, the bigger they get. So it's a really cool kind of plant. And personally, if I would just want to grow something that impresses me, I would probably grow something with Allergold, flying saucer, Cantora hybrid, because that cross always has potential. No matter how often you repeat the cross or you do it similarly, it will always have the potential to have that one amazing plant that, yeah, like flying saucer size, big and beautiful flowers. Really good. There are a bunch of photos and videos around with Allergold, with the flower of Allergold, and it was in front of a crested plant. And those photos are amazing. The thing looked awesome. I was very impressed with the flower. And looking back, every time I post it, it stands out again how amazing it looks. It's a very good kind of flower. Like so many hybrids, probably from Reinhard Liske. Okay. Not many seeds. I had 2 fruits on that plant in this year. And every time different size. Also, because I pollinated one with something that was genetically closer and that fruit was bigger, and I pollinated others with something like Lubivia, and the fruit was suddenly tiny, or half the size at least, maybe even smaller. So definitely potential. I think this is the one that had the smaller fruit, but I'm not sure yet. I need to look. This could be the seed count in these fruits is so variable. This could be a big or small one. Sometimes you have 500 seeds in a fruit, and sometimes you have 100. It also depends on how compatible the parents are that you use in these hybrid crosses. Okay. And this is nice. This is the kind of stuff that we should definitely sow out long term. I would love to see that. So yeah, welcome to the stream, everyone. Thank you for joining. Great to be back. Tomorrow I want to do more books again. I got to pack more book orders. So just wanted to say thank you for the support again. Every now and then it allows to just compensate for the bad months that you have in winter when as a cactus breeder. So yeah. And we will be packing them tomorrow, signing and numbering them. I do that all manually. Wasn't one of my best ideas, but now I will continue doing it, because the books look great when I do it. Okay. Yeah, Allergold 2025. Fruit harvested on August 25th. Okay. So here's another one. What's this? Wörlitz, Buena Vista, and Candicans. Interesting cross, and I'm still not sure if they are maybe self-fertile or not. They might be, because they often have fruit. I'm not sure, but if you just look at the parents, it's likely that they are not self-fertile. That is just a very fertile kind of plant. But so far, I haven't seen a lot of offspring from it yet. it remains to be seen. That's it. Sometimes you work as a breeder, you sometimes work with plants for years, and you are not able to 100% know if that plant is even a good parent or not. You see that much later. Okay. So I had dried the seeds on a piece of paper towel. After cleaning everything, running it through a sieve. Seeds also harvested roughly around the same time, maybe August. And once we're done with the ones that I've already washed, then I need to wash more. I still haven't done them all. Some of the smaller ones, the Lobivia fruit, they have time. You can put them aside because they don't have any kind of fruit material. They are just tiny round things that are full of seeds usually, but everything bigger needs to be cleaned pretty fast. Otherwise it's a mess. That's what I usually do. I look at the size of the fruit, and once you have a fruit that is huge, it will turn into total disaster once you forget about it for a week or two. So those need to be cleaned right away. Otherwise, you are constantly, I don't know, disgusted. Okay. So Wurlitz, Buena Vista, and Candicans. Candicans white was the name, I guess. White flowering. So it's not a white plant. And yeah, cool flower shape, cool petal shape. That's one of my favorite hybrids when I see it in the list of parents, because it often passes down a very unique kind of petal shape, because Candicans has an extra row of petals that makes it look interesting. And very often when it's in the list of parents, you can see that kind of shape coming through. Very often a good kind of plant to see. Buena Vista Candicans. I even went so far to get me that particular plant that was originally used in the crosses, like that original Buena Vista Candicans hybrid. And it has a very subtle kind of flower, not a lot of color, but a nice shape. And that is the big trait that comes through in many crosses with it. Yeah, and here with Wurlitz, kind of purplish Wurlitz, you know, classic hybrid. The flower color was purplish, pinkish purplish, somewhere in between, but with a nice golden throat, and that is something that you don't see often. So in that regard, the mother is very good in regards to just flower quality alone. But the one thing that really that I find suspicious is that it has so many seeds often. That is a trait. When I see that, I instantly think self-fertility. That could mean that. It doesn't have to be like that, but if you have a plant where you suspect that could be the case, just don't pollinate it one year. Make sure to lock it up. Put maybe a net around the flowers, and if you then see also a lot of seeds, big fruit, then the plant's probably self-fertile. It's not that it's 100% reliable, because sometimes you can also, I don't know, have a accidental pollination that happened at very early on that you don't notice, but in many cases when you just reliably have these huge kind of fruits, self-fertility is the answer. And then it's not a true hybrid cross. That is what's problematic with that, because you always try to combine the parents in a way where you try to do something with a cross. You try to get to something. You try to you want some sort of a mix of both the parents. And when you have when one of the plants is self-fertile, then that can often not work. If the mother is self-fertile, there's a high likelihood the offspring will look like the mother. Also in regards to the flower. So yeah, that is the reason why it took so long for the actual Gräser follow-up hybrids to have color like pink stripes, like the stuff that Andreas Shogadilla, like his hybrids there with the Gräser hybrid and something else that has pink stripes, kind of flower color. His hybrids it took very long for that to happen. Probably because people were trying to use it as mother, and when it's self-fertile as a mother, then it will never really truly mix the traits. It will just continue to replicate, and the offspring will be similar to the mother, not identical, because you always have variety when growing from seeds, but you would always have variety within a certain range. You would be limited to that, and the color from pink stripes that you would, for example, that you would use as fodder doesn't have a chance, because it's the thing is already pollinated long time before that thing even opens. That is usually how it is when a plant is self-fertile. Once the flower opens up, it can already be too late. Pollination could already have been happening just by accident. So yeah. And self-fertility is a big thing with Gräser hybrids, and it's a big thing with hybrids like Schaffery and Telegonoides, Cerenzia telegonoides. Also, some of them are self-fertile. I know it. I know when I see it. You know, when you have a plant that reliably behaves a certain way, you get a feeling for it. And that could have happened by natural hybridization. Thank you. Thank you. I think it's a decent day. Having one of my good days. It happens. It's set to happen. But yeah, a lot of the self-fertile people are working with a lot of self-fertile hybrids without knowing. And that is the problem. It isn't difficult to work with a self-fertile hybrid. You can then use it as a father. You know, you just know you can't use it as a mother. At least not in the sense that if you want to have something else, something completely different, if you are okay with something similar, then just taking the self-fertile, the seeds from the self-fertile plant, growing that, it will result in similarly good plants. So, but it's not a true hybrid cross. That's just, and very often, whoever made the cross had an idea with it. It didn't just happen. A breeder wants to achieve a certain mix of traits. Okay. And this was also very big fruit. And with the Wörlitz hybrids are often not self-fertile. That is something, actually the opposite. A lot of them don't have a lot of pollen. They are pretty low on pollen. And in general, if you have a good fair amount of seeds, then that's good. Then that's something that doesn't happen all the time. with the Wurlitz hybrids, I rather have smaller fruits than bigger. I wish they were a little bit more fertile sometimes. Okay. Right now it was a very cold night. It was such a cold night that the heater didn't really get it under control. The heater, I was turning up the heater yesterday evening, and it was still cold. And if you look at the temperature, I'm not sure how cold it is, but it didn't really look that cold. Like from the temperature, it just feels so much colder. It's like I don't know what makes it like that feeling that something is colder than it actually is. Maybe the wind, but it feels pretty not fun. I hate that part of winter. I just hope we will get a little bit of snow. That's all. I hate snow, but I want Kami to see it. I want Kami to be able to walk through snow this year. And I'm not sure if we will get it. It's in the last years, we only got very rarely, like snow very rarely. And I'm not convinced that it will happen this year. But it would be great because she's so old and I want to see her walking around in the snow. That would be really funny. And I already know that she would just take one step and turn around again. Yeah, it's generally a little colder right now. And the moment the next month begins, I have to work outside. Have to do the tree stuff now to get it under control. Because you can only cut trees over winter until a certain date. And I've been pushing that further and further ahead. But now I need to do it. So I need to get the chainsaw running. And I hate that. It's just, I don't like working with that thing. Because it's, I don't know, I don't like the model. It's a like with the way that you change the chains and all, it's just a little bit more difficult than the other brand of chainsaw that I used to have. So I'm still not really, I'm not loving it. And it needs to be done because the trees are everywhere. Every year you need to cut back the robinia trees. It's a terrible pest, terrible invasive pest. And it's growing everywhere around the house, and it needs to be cut back again. Otherwise, you have no light. Yeah, I really hope that I can take a bunch of photos of Kami in the snow, but it's also about her experiencing it. I would already be happy if she just experiences it. You know, I don't need to take a photo. I would love that, but if she's happy just experiencing snow. I mean, she probably hates it. The way cats usually look at snow, she probably hates it. But I want to give her the gift of hating it, you know? I want to allow her to experience that. In the past, I don't think she was in the snow, in the high snow. Of course, she saw something like when it rained a little snow here and there, but real snow, I think she didn't really walk through it. Okay. A lot of seeds here, and it wasn't the only fruit. There are at least 5 fruits from this plant. Because I have 2 mother plants, I thought about sorting them out this year, but I just felt like it's such a great flower. But if the next time also a lot of flowers turn into fruit, then I will probably sort one out. just because I suspect self-fertility could be a thing. I don't want to have too many plants when they are self-fertile. Okay. I'm really looking forward seeing the offspring from these plants. I've been donating seeds of those since at least 5-6 years. So I suspect I should be able to see the first pigs soon. What's this? I really need to look up the parents. Okay. Yeah, and these seeds, like I said, Wörlitz. Wörlitz being a multi-hybrid between Dessau, Gräsers Überraschung, and Flying Saucer. Something like that. I'm not sure. I need to look it up. Don't nail me on it. I don't want to say anything that because I keep forgetting the parents of all these hybrids because they are so similar. They all have similar names, but I think it was something like that. Flying Saucer, Dessau, Gräsers Überraschung, something like that. Okay. This one here also, same plant, just a different fruit. And in the last year, I think 24, I had a remarkable amount of hybrid crosses with that plant that also took a lot of seeds. I would love to have a chainsaw that I can charge like a battery. I really don't like the way they like the ones with gas that are gas fueled. They are so sensitive, you know. Everything needs to be right. The chain, the spark plug needs to be perfectly dry. The moment something happens while you are working with it, sometimes I need to change. When I need to change the chain, it takes me like half an hour, and it's because that one that I have is a Husqvarna. It's a great chainsaw. It's a really amazing, powerful piece, but I feel like changing the chain is so much different to the steel chain that I have problems with it. So sometime soon, I need to take the chainsaw out of the cellar and try to get it to run again. Try to get the chain propped up again. I changed the chain. I completely changed the chain because it made problems. I changed the spark plug. I changed the type of fuel that I used. It's just very often I had problems with that thing. And contrary to that, I have a Husqvarna, like a weed whacker kind of thing. One of these big things that you move around like, you know, like a weed whacker. And that is great. It's the most reliable piece of equipment that I have. So that it's a good company. I just don't really understand the way they do it with changing the chain. That is something, that's the kind of stuff that I first had to learn. I haven't really had, like, it wasn't really that I checked that my father took me aside and showed me how to deal with a chainsaw, that kind of stuff, you know. You just have to grow into that. As an adult, making these experiences, I learned a lot. You know, you have to do that stuff on safety and these things. But it's always something you have to constantly improve, try to work on yourself. Didn't have that in the past, that you just being able to ask someone about this kind of stuff, you know. Today you have YouTube, where people help you. But in the past, I didn't have that. Okay. I want to get me a good one, like a rechargeable one, not something, you know, over the years I felt like everything, when I bought something, I tried to buy something good right away, because I'm the type of person, if I buy some sort of an entry level kind of thing, then I often buy me something better later. That's just how I am. I know myself, and I know I'm the person who, if I like something, I wanna have the best thing that I can get. And in that case, I tried to get me a good chainsaw right away. And with the battery, with, you know, how they are, some of them, the newer ones, they make some really good ones now with the battery. And I want to save up a little bit and maybe get me one of those in the next couple of years. Something that you can just start and it will instantly start, you know. Then I had problems with the chainsaw when I had the Lyme disease. When I had the Lyme disease so bad, when I tried to start it with the chain, I didn't have the muscle power anymore. I had such problems with the muscles that I couldn't start that thing up. And that's the classic scenario that you have with the ones with gas. I had real problems at the time. My muscles were so bad. I literally had to learn everything again. And at that time, I learned to appreciate what it means if you can press the button and something turns on. That makes a big difference. And with the chainsaw, I never really felt like they are easy to use. With a lot of experience, and you need to do it all yourself, you need to learn. You really need to learn how to take a chainsaw apart and do it fast, do it at home and outside, when you are just in the middle of working and suddenly something doesn't work anymore. And it's a long path. So maybe it would be easier for me to get something that will turn on, and that's it. And they are often not for the huge kind of trees, but I'm not taking apart a huge tree anymore. These kinds of times, I'm not seeing that, you know, like that I'm really taking down a tree alone that has a size that would require a huge kind of sword on the chainsaw. So yeah, for the little kind of medium-sized trees that you have everywhere, I want to get me something sometime soon. It's just easier. You put that thing on the charging port in the evening, and next morning when you need it, you press the button and it turns on. That's how I always had hoped the chainsaw would work. But like I said, once you have problems with the muscles, it might not be hard to pull for someone that doesn't have that problem. But for me, it was a huge deal. I was trying to start it, and when I realized I can't do it within the first 5 pulls, then I was out of energy. Then I had to take a break and wait an hour. And then I had a little bit of more energy and could try again. And that's how I tried to use the chainsaw for like 2 years. That's how it went very often. So at some point I will get me one, probably a Stihl, because I feel like the whole system is easier to use in field, easier to just change the chain. But yeah, we'll see. Right now, there isn't really enough financial room to do something like that. But eventually in the future, I want to do that. Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I tried to buy something great right away. So I bought me a pretty powerful chainsaw that is really good. But it's not easy, apparently. Hey, welcome to the stream. Great to have you around. So yeah, I'm cleaning seeds here, and this time, yeah, this was also Wörlitz, Candicans, and Buena Vista. I think the order was first Candicans and then Buena Vista, but I need to look it up. Okay. Yeah, welcome to the Fungus Gnat channel. Great to have you around. And today we did not have one fungus gnat, not one. It was a monumental day today. No fungus gnat. I don't think we had that in a while. So that's actually great. Yeah, so here's some hair that's left in the seeds from the fruit or from the flower. Sometimes they are hairy, and some of the hair got into the seeds. That happens from time to time. Okay. Yeah, apart from that, these are okay-ish, clean. Not super great, but it's enough to back them up. And then I think I cleaned everything that I had here. That is awesome. So I made some real progress with the seed cleaning. It's not too late to do something good with them sometime soon. Okay. So yeah, and sometime soon I will also probably start to pack a bunch of seeds just randomly already. Maybe for the future. I'm not sure what I will do. But I don't want to sit on the seeds forever. This is just, at some point, it's a waste, you know? When you have great seeds that are lying around, and that's why I'm doing it right now. So yeah, I'm not sure how long the smartphone will last, but I will do until I get the usual warning. At some point I will also have a charging cable here, but that's right now it hasn't happened yet. Everything that I'm doing here is a little bit low budget. Okay. And I want to say again, thank you for the book orders. I got quite a few recently, and I appreciate that. Want to pack them on the channel sometime within the next days. And yeah, that's fun. I like that. I really don't like cleaning seeds. It's not only that, it's just you have to constantly do it every day, and I don't really like it. It's not something that you enjoy, especially if everyone who once forgot a bunch of seeds that he or she wanted to clean knows that it is disgusting sometimes. Sometimes you have forgotten that you wanted to clean the seed, clean the fruit and everything, and it's just a mess. And then you need to be careful that it doesn't attract any kind of insect. So you always need to make sure that there's no health crisis going on in the house with all the fruits that you always have to clean when you're a cactus breeder. It just never ends. So you always have to ideally do it right away. But in practice, that just doesn't happen all the time. People just forget. Suddenly you walk there and sit and think, what stinks here? And then you realize, oh, I had forgotten to clean the seeds. So yeah, it's just something that I would love not to do, but it's just a part of the hobby. It's just such a big part of the hobby. And if you do it right away, then it's not so bad. It just becomes bad later on when you have these phases where you completely forget about it. sometimes also with depression, that kind of thing, you know, always a problem then. And you see all that work, it can become overwhelming. Yeah, very often the ants will also take the seeds. In my greenhouse, the one experience that I have with ants, they take them. They open up the fruit, and it's usually lobelia fruits that happens with. But the ants, you know, I always feel if a fruit is ripe or not, and then I touch it and I feel, and if it doesn't have the right texture, if it's just too hard, then I notice that it's not all right. So then I leave it another night, and the next morning I come out and I find that ants have not only opened the thing up but taken away the seeds. I'm not sure if only certain species do it, but I have a bunch that really steal the seeds. I wouldn't do it like that. What I feel like could be a good way to do it is just to let them, how did they call it? Yeah, they let it rot, you know, like letting them somewhere in a closed bag, maybe. And then after a certain time, most of the stuff is gone. Most of the organic material dissolves, and the seeds should very often stay back. So once you have that little bit of, like, let's say you put it in a bag like this, you would put a fruit into a bag like this, in a closed plastic bag, and then at some point you could, the cell walls would all be broken down. You could just let that kind of sludge run through the sieve, and that could work. I've seen that work, you know, because every now and then when I put fruits, like little lobelia fruits, in stackable little things, little bins that you can stack on top of each other, and because they are stacked on top of each other, there's humidity in every one, so they start kind of rotting in that container, in that closed little kind of thing, and then you can just run it through the sieve under running water, and what will remain back are just the seeds very often. So that can work. It's just disgusting, you know, it's just disgusting. You have you have bags of rotten fruit because you can't put it out. You can't really put it in the garden. You need maybe a garden house, something where you can control everything, that you don't have, so that you don't feeding the rats or just, you know, that kind of stuff. So you have to put it somewhere where it can just rot, and at some point everything is just basically a liquid. So yeah, but in my opinion, it's better to wash them right away. When the fruit is very fresh, you can just run everything through a sieve, and you only have the pulp. The real problems just start the longer you wait, the more connected the pulp and the rest of the fruit are. That stuff fuses together the older it is, and that will eventually lead to the mess that you have when you are cleaning old fruit. So yeah, it happens to everyone, but it's best to not let it get to that. Okay, so in this here, this was I cleaned the fruit, and it was almost empty. There were no seeds in it. I thought I found 2 seeds, but now that I'm looking at it again, I can't find any viable ones. So either that one seed that was in there rolled out. So none here. Okay, this is it. Think I cleaned all the seeds. I checked all the seedlings. Had a great stream today. I enjoyed it. Thank you, guys. So no, what am I doing now? I think I'm going offline. I think we had a great stream, and always good to stop on a high note. So thank you guys. It was amazing. I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you for always participating in my stream. I love it. And yeah, thank you for being the great community that you guys are. Okay, thank you. I'll be back tomorrow, same time.